If I was a young man growing up in Hamilton now, I wouldn't be hopeful. It's horrible, it's ugly.
Reform are the least racist party in the country, and I'll tell you why.
I don't know what it is, but about a guy that sounds like me, looks like me in a leadership position that makes Nigel so uncomfortable.
There's no way that Farage offers the answer. He caused the problem.
They're running scared. You know what I mean? Who? Labour? My fucking balls.
Right. In 1967, Winnie Ewing sent shockwaves through the Scottish political establishment when she won this seat, Hamilton, for the SNP from Labour. And now, nearly 60 years later, Reform are hoping to do the exact same thing. Could it be that the Reform bus is coming and everybody's jumping? It's a Scottish parliamentary by-election, and candidates here are hoping to become the MSP for Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. It's been represented by Labour and the SNP, and when the by-election was called after the death of the SNP incumbent, it was expected to be a straight shootout between the two. But as we've seen in the rest of the UK, support for Reform seems to be growing.
Labour's campaign has kind of maybe gone out the window a little bit. Their candidate, Davy Russell, hasn't really agreed to speak on camera much to the media. That's kind of given Reform a platform, and now the projection is that on Thursday night, when the by-election results are announced, they actually could come second, which it seemed to have came out of nowhere.
This would be a seismic shift for Scottish politics.
It means like looking to Holyrood 2026 next year. I mean, they're already projected to get like kind of double figures MSPs.
Now, they're yet to win a major election in Scotland, and Nigel Farage has suggested that victory here is improbable, but a good result here would mean that Nigel Farage and his party are more popular than many in Scotland would like to admit. Even if Reform have been running this advert that both First Minister John Swinney and Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar say is racist. It suggests that Anna Sarwar has said that he will prioritise the Pakistani and South Asian community, using words that Sarwar has never said.
He seems obsessed with me, by the way, actually, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is, but about a guy that sounds like me, looks like me in a leadership position that makes Nigel so uncomfortable.
Nigel Farage has doubled down, even claiming that Sarwar introduced sectarianism to Scotland. What do you think of Nigel Farage himself?
Can I swear?
It begins with W and it ends in R.
Talking about the by-election.
Right, that's funny well. From UK. Nah, is that just me?
Nigel Farage accused Sarwar of introducing sectarianism into Scotland. That made me laugh. It must have made you laugh.
Well, it did make us laugh. I think Anna Sarwar, the backstory to that was that Anna Sarwar was under pressure by a reporter because his own activists...
It's ridiculous to suggest that Anna Sarwar is responsible for sectarianism in Scotland.
Well, he certainly brought it into this campaign, that's for sure.
What about the member of the Orange Order that's standing with the Conservatives?
Do you know what? I've not paid any attention to the Conservative Party in this campaign.
But I would say about Nigel Farage is, right, he's a nutcase. He might be able to pull our counterparts down in the south, right? He might be able to do that. And he has done. But up here, no. We're more sensible. I would like to think, right? And he's got, I was going to swear there. Absolutely no chance. Up here, we are not racist, right? Well, I don't think we're racist.
Put bluntly, Nigel Farage is a pathetic, poisonous little man who wants to try and bring his divisive politics into Scotland. This is a guy that doesn't understand Scotland, doesn't care about Scotland, couldn't give a damn about Scotland. In fact, I think it's only the third time he's visited here in 6 years. And what he did when he came here was expose how pathetic an individual he is.
Do you like them?
I do, mate, I do.
Why?
Oh, it's not my fact.
Yeah, because man, I think they're straight talk. My serious shit that I think they've got to do, mate. They've got to say that 100%. The stuff they're saying, they've got to come in and do it. And that's why Labour now is running shit scared. The way that they just spoke to the wee office up there.
Aye.
No, because they're running terrified. The Stonehouse, Stonehouse Labcon, the Hamilton by-election. They're running scared. Know what I mean?
Who?
Labour.
My fucking balls.
Right.
Reform are the least racist party in the country, and I'll tell you why. Because we believe in one thing and one thing only, which is merit. People should be judged on the merit of their character, their contribution to society, and that alone. We don't think it's fair for example, that someone be passed over for promotion at work because they're not the right ethnicity, the right sex, or the right age. So that's a passionate belief of reform. So we don't think that should be anything to do with the calculation.
Why aren't you going to vote?
Because this thing's going to change. This town is empty.
You've got to vote.
There's no shops.
You've got to vote.
No, there's no
Don't be stupid, Calvin. For God's sake, you've got to vote.
there's no shops opened. So what are you going to do for us? That's what we need to know.
Have you ever voted?
No, never.
Why?
Why should I vote? Who's going to change things?
Well, somebody's
tell
going
me.
to change something.
You
Because
tell
look
me.
at the state of the place, for God's sake.
We need something. But no, I've heard in the past this place is going to get all these shops are going to get shut down and pulled into housing assets because there's not enough economy for the shops to be kept open. So
In actual fact, when you're going about in the streets, yes, there is a Skinner factor. There's no point pretending there isn't. Yes, people are frustrated. They don't feel as if the Scottish Government works for them. They don't feel like the economy works for them. They don't feel like the public services work for them. They don't think our housing system works for them. And there's a sense of disenfranchisement, a fear of hopelessness. But what all Nigel Farage is trying to do is tap into that. The circus turns up. He's the chief clown. The circus goes away with no idea of how to improve people's life and no care in improving people's lives.
What has the message been on the doorstep when you go door knocking?
Well, we've been telling people, well, they've been telling us, actually, the message is coming from the people, that they're really sick and tired with the whole political establishment. What they're seeing being offered to them by the political establishment doesn't excite them. They feel they've had a lost generation already. I mean, they look at what Labour and SNP are offering for the future, all they can see is another lost generation potentially. And they're really worried about that. And the one thing that the public have, that the political establishment doesn't, is the public have a real sense of urgency. So they've got this feeling inside them that things need to change really, really quickly now. And that involves some big decisions.
Do you have a sense of why Scots may be looking to reform for solution, for a change?
I think people are basically facing quite a hard time just now. When you look at the combination of the financial crash, austerity, Brexit, COVID, the energy price spike after the invasion of Ukraine, these are all seismic events, all of which, one after the other, have undermined people's standard of living. Principal amongst these is Brexit. Brexit has made us all poorer, every single one of us. And that erosion of standards of living is causing people concern, which is why I think they're turning to Farage. The irony, of course, is that the thing that's made us poorer is Brexit, and the author of Brexit was Farage. So there's no way that Farage offers the answer. He caused the problem.
How would you describe Hamilton as a town?
It used to be beautiful, and now it's a derelict. Derelict.
Do you think there's a lot of opportunities for people in Hamilton?
But I mean, I would say no. Most people travel, don't they? It's like my work out of London really, but Glasgow and stuff. But the train links and stuff get people out into opportunities. I wouldn't say so much maybe depends what your career choice is, you know. Depends if you want to do whatever, but maybe not so much the career choices, opportunities inside Hamilton, maybe not the best, but maybe that's what they could have worked on instead of like, you know, trying to change residential or focusing so much on the residential impact of it. But yeah.
What can I say? They've shut down the big market there, the big shopping mall, and that one's going next up there, so it needs regenerated.
My dad drove a double-decker bus up and down these hills, right? And there were hundreds of shops. There were 5 shoe shops at least, 4 tailors at least.
You're a young guy, grew up in Hamilton. What opportunities would you say there were for young people around here?
There's not many really at all. I mean, the shops are shutting. There's nothing here.
Jobs themselves are hard to come by.
You'd have to go to Glasgow or to Edinburgh, and for many people that's just unaffordable.
They've run the place down and down and down, and now they're struggling with money so much that last year they were willing to cut funding for school buses, which then meant that kids were having to walk for an hour into school. I remember seeing protests by parents and teachers against the council. It's mental that a council would turn around to arguably the one piece of society that should be constantly protected and then say, by the way, you're having to walk for an hour into school every day when you had a bus. It's just complete stupidity.
Are you hopeful about the future?
I don't know what the future's going to be, mate. I don't know. You get told one thing, you
I'll
get
tell
told two
if
things.
I was a young man growing up in Hamilton now, I wouldn't be hopeful. It's horrible, it's ugly, it's too pedestrian, it's too ugly, right?
Scunnered. That seems to be the words that people are using, and people in Scotland have a lot to be scunnered about. The waiting list for the NHS is projected to be 1 million by December 2026. We've still got the record drug deaths in Europe. House building targets are not being met. Why should someone hoping for change bother voting for the SNP who've been in power since 2007?
Because we've delivered a great deal of improvements in the lives of people in Scotland. So
Apart from all the ones I've just mentioned.
Well, I'll go through some of the different issues. Early learning and childcare. So all 3 and 4-year-olds in Scotland get full school day of early learning and childcare, and a lot of 2-year-olds get that as well. And it saves parents thousands of pounds a year in childcare. Best offer for childcare in the whole of the United Kingdom. Scottish students going to Scottish universities don't pay tuition fees, unlike in England. Council tax is largely lower in Scotland than it is in other parts of the UK. People have got access to free prescriptions. I'm just about to abolish peak rail fares in Scotland to save people more money, again addressing the cost of living crisis. You mentioned housing. Scotland's built more affordable housing per head of population over the last years of the SNP government than in any other part of the United Kingdom, in England or in Wales. And we are tackling long waits. We've got, I accept that there's challenges in our health service, the first to accept that, but we're recovering from the COVID pandemic and we're working to get the long waiting list down so that people are getting treatment earlier. And lots of people are getting treatment in an efficient and an effective timescale. So for all these reasons, the SNP's deliver for people in Scotland. What they've now got is a government intensely focused on eradicating child poverty. Scotland's the only part of the United Kingdom where child poverty is going down, but it's going up in the rest of the UK. And we've got a commitment to expand the economy. Our economy is growing. We've set out our agenda for getting to net zero, and we're improving our public services. That's the heart of the government's agenda, and I'm focused on delivering that for the people of Scotland.
So, did Reform not just do them in English? Thingy, they get like 12 or 14.
They beat them.
Aye, and they get a big fright because Reform are straight talking. We'll do this, man. With the boats and the migrants and all that. See what Britain needs to do? See all the migrants coming, they come all the way through Europe. Why don't they come to Britain, mate? See, as soon as they come to Britain, they get hussies, they get money, they get benefits and all that. See, in the other EU country, mate, they get fuck all.
What do you think of that, sir?
I think, I agree. I agree with a part of what the man says there, right? I don't like them actually coming here. But at the same time, if they do enter the country, then you've got to take care of them. One way or another, right? Because it's no fair if they land on your shores and they're here.
So why did they come all the way through Africa, all the way through Europe, through Germany, through Poland, through France, and then they cross the English Channel to come to Britain? Why do you know why to come to Britain? Because as soon as they come in Britain, they get money, they get hussies, they get put on benefits, they get everything they want. See the other EU countries, France, Germany, Poland and all that, they get absolutely nothing there. They get put in, the refugee, detention centres, but they don't get in there, they don't get jobs, they don't get hussies, they don't get money. So as soon as they come to the UK, mate, they get money, they get hussies.
Right, okay, right. So they go to
and
these...
that's why they're all coming.
Whoa. So they go to these other places, right?
And they get nothing, they get absolutely nothing.
They get nothing. So what do they live on?
So that's
what do they eat?
That's why they're coming to Britain.
What do they eat?
They stay in refugee, no refugee camps.
Gents,
I will. Detention centres and all that, and obviously they get basic food and water and all that.
How do they survive?
They get basic food and water.
These are human people, for God's sake.
I will leave. There's been a lot of discussion about whether or not reform could work in Scotland. Are they just too English? Too radical? Too anti-immigrant even? Well, as long as there's people in Scotland that are scunnered, they'll be looking for change. Could reform with Scottish characteristics be the change that they're looking for?